Happy Hemp Day, everyone. It's Penny. I'm a medicine woman and vitalist herbalist specializing in ancient remedies for modern illness. And if you'd like to learn more, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. Welcome to The Real Deal, real people, real issues, real talk. And today we're talking hemp with Anthony Cristo. And in honor of Hemp Day, I just pulled out my all-time favorite book to share with you all. The Emperor Wears No Clothes from Jack Yare. And here he is, if you don't know who he is. Here's the book. I've given out many copies of this book through the years, guys, and anything and everything you need to know about hemp is in this book. And he even had $100,000 guarantee that he would give to people if they proved him wrong that hemp would not save the world, medically, industrially. So much knowledge, so much work into that book. And I'll remind everybody, hold on, I think we have Anthony here. Let's see, I think he's here. Says it's adding you, Anthony, so let's see. There's also a documentary out online with Jack's The Emperor Wears No Clothes, so check it out, and definitely a wealth of information, anything you need to know from medical to everything. Definitely a true legend. And I think my phone is having some kind of delay to it today. Hopefully it doesn't come back horribly on the other side. I guess I'll also remind you of one thing that Jack said right before he died. He gave his last speech, and I'm sure his heart rate was going. Let's see. Hold on. Let me try one more thing. Anthony, I don't know what happened, but if you're on there, try to comment so I can get you on, or there's a blue button down there where you can ask to join the live. But anyway, he said not a single fucking dollar to the government for cannabis. Why? Because we've been lied to. We've been lied to. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me try it like that. Didn't work. Hold on, Anthony. I'm trying. Guys, I hate that I am just horrible at this. See you on there, Pam. I could add you if I wanted. I can't. You can't add Anthony. Let me try right here, Anthony. Does it say send a request to join on the bottom, Anthony, where you can just push a button? Let me see. Did you push the button, Pam? No. Sure. Well, I'm going to try one more thing here. Sorry, guys. Says you're invited, Anthony. Let me see. I don't know why. That's Pam. Try to comment one more time, Anthony. Oops. Boy, I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna really have to bear with me for a while I learn this. Way too much technology for me. Why won't it let me see if you can get me now? No. For some reason you're on there. Boy, this is just horrible. Sorry, guys. You can give me any pointers. Clicking on him. Oh, boy, Anthony. Do you see a blue button, Anthony, where you can just request to join the live? Because I don't know what is going on. This is just unbelievable. Why? Bring them on camera, but it won't let me bring you on camera. Let's see. And okay, I think it's gonna work. Unbelievable. I think you're coming, Anthony. Okay, I think it's gonna work. All right, we got it. Coming, Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna work.
All right. Sorry about that. Apparently, it's not working with my iMac, so I went ahead and switched it to my phone. That way,
Okay.
apparently, it works better. It's not Mac friendly.
Okay, well,
But that's okay.
That's okay. We got it. We're good. So go tell us a little bit about yourself, Anthony.
Well, I'm a disabled veteran with a 100% disability of post-traumatic stress disorder from my time in service. But I still try to lead a normal life. So I'm a teacher. I teach English at a high school in San Antonio, and I have a very good rapport with my kids because I grew up in the same neighborhood where I teach at. And I have other schools that are closer to where I live, but knowing what those kids go through on that side of town, I want to make sure that I'm with them because that way they know that it is possible to live in that area, still grow up and succeed in spite of whatever shortcomings you may have.
That's that's a special gift that you give to a lot of people because those are relationships you remember for years.
Mhm.
Big heart. And it goes a long way. I can remember like one or two in my time. You still remember them years later. So.
Oh, yeah. But I enjoy it. I teach primarily English and literature, but I do extensive research in sciences and history. Oftentimes, because students will come to me and say that their teacher is not quite explaining it right, and somehow I have a gift for explaining things in easy to understand terms, except for math. For some reason, I'm not good at teaching math. I'm very good at it, just can't really explain it very well.
Well, when you grow up in the real world and you don't forget where you came from,
Yeah.
you can actually help a lot of people, and that seems to be like a gift that you have to give.
It is good because I mean I granted I had a very loving parents, but I knew students in the area when I was growing up that did not. And sadly, it's gotten more prolific that there's parents, children that are unwanted, children that are maybe emotionally abused, some physically abused. But I understand where they're coming from, and I understand a lot of the actions, what they do. Myself and my brothers, we weren't exactly saints growing up, despite the fact that we had good parents because we were relatively poor. in a 6 kids in a 3-bedroom house with our parents. So we did a lot of things we weren't supposed to, and so when I see the kids that are doing, they try to pull it over at me at first. It's like, hey, I grew up here. I know exactly what you guys are doing. You know what you're not supposed to do, and I'm not stupid, so don't make me think I'm stupid. I know what 420 is. My brother was arrested for being an unlicensed pharmacist. I was just never caught. So they kind of understand. It's like, okay, he knows what's going on. He's not going to be a jerk about it, and at the same time, he knows where he's coming from, and he genuinely wants to help because he can be other places.
Yeah, no, I mean that. So, so you're in Texas,
Yeah.
one of the last remaining illegal states, um, and you have um, some political in your background as well. So, want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I actually ran for U.S. Congress in 2016 and 2018 and 2020. Obviously, I did not win, but one of the main things I was running under was to legalize marijuana, simply because I lived in Colorado Springs for a spell, and over there, where it was one of the first states to be legal, it was working great. Uh, that's a state that people pay a state income tax. And unlike Texas, we don't pay a state income tax. We pay the federal income tax, but not a state. And Colorado, after that first year of legalization, everyone got a complete refund because of the revenue that was generated off that. Now, normally, taxation, I feel, is unnecessary for a lot of things because there's a lot of government waste going on. But from a pragmatic standpoint, it's one of those things you have to uh, pick your battles and decide. If you want legalization, you're going to have some sort of taxation. The thing with Colorado versus Washington State, because my little brother was living in Washington State when it was legal there, was that Washington, they overtaxed it. They started rubbing their hands together like, oh, now this is our chance to tax the hell out of it. And they did. But the thing is that backfires. When you get too greedy, it always backfires. And so they taxed it so much that it was still cheaper to get it off the streets. So there was still a large market of people buying it off the streets, according to them, illegally. Whereas in Colorado Springs, it was roughly about the same as if you were paying for it on the streets before. So you can go into a dispensary, they scan your driver's license. They actually have the product there where you can look at, see the quality, and they'll answer questions about how much THC is in it, how much CBD is in it, which the different strains are. They'll start talking to you about, well, if you're having pain issues, you should try this one because of the THC to CBD ratio. Or if you're having emotional issues, then you should try this strain because of the THC CBD ratios. And they're very knowledgeable, and you're getting a good quality product, and that's the benefit of having it legalized. Plus, you step outside and there's a cop across the street filling his gas tank at the gas station, and you just kind of wave like that, and he waves back. No problem. You don't have to shove it down the front of your pants like you did in high school.
Right.
Yeah, you could just walk out, and crime didn't go up. In fact, it went down. There's so many benefits to actually legalizing it and letting people decide for themselves, because obviously keeping it illegal, people are still going to get it regardless. The drug war has failed. Drugs won. Government lost, plain and simple. And all it's done is ruin more lives than it's saved. Because as soon as you get someone with a felony charge of drug possession, all of a sudden their life's ruined. They go to prison. It's under permanent record. Then they have all these other issues. They can't find a job. They can't find another thing. And then you ask people who are still supporting keeping marijuana illegal, it's like, well, we're trying to save their lives. It's like, no, you're ruining their lives by keeping it illegal. Uh, and that's the thing, is like in Portugal, where they decriminalized everything back in 2000, we have 20 years of evidence that shows, Drug overdoses went down because people were seeking help. I mean, there's a difference between people who use alcohol and people who abuse alcohol, just like you have a difference between people who use recreational drugs and people who abuse recreational drugs.
Right.
So there's just so many other factors that the people that are stating against legalization are not looking. They have a very myopic or short-sighted point of view of what's going on. They're not looking at the bigger picture.
Well, it's crazy that I mean, honestly, I can't believe that all these years later, we're just still baby stepping through the whole thing and people still are in jail and, so it's just, to me, it's just a circus,
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah. All right, sorry about that. I clicked on the button. Got the delayed feed there. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I personally would love to see the war on drugs end for good. Just because you would have, even with other, things besides marijuana, with like cocaine, heroin, crack, you will make sure that it's being made in a clean, sterile facility by people with PhDs in biochemistry that will understand and control the dosage. So that way, just like with alcohol, when you go into a liquor store, it says, well, it says 80 proof on here. Well, it says, 101 proof, cask strength. You know how much percentage of alcohol is in there. You will know what the dosage level is of the recreational drug you're using, whether it's cocaine, heroin, crack, whatever. And it's not going to be made in a dirty, dank place or in someone's kitchen out in a ghetto somewhere with unsanitary conditions and questionable knowledge as to how to make the product. So to me,
I mean, I agree with that, but then I also, because I've been a medicine woman for years and I don't have a lab, obviously, but I don't have a PhD or any schooling, but I'm very knowledgeable in what I do and I've helped myself and thousands of people and animals, so I don't think a lot of the things can be actually taught in a school. I think they need to be learned, firsthand experience, stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't step foot into a dispensary and give them, first of all, my money, which is my real vote, my money, my hard-earned cash, and I really don't know where their stuff came from.
mm-hmm.
I grow my own, I process my own, and unless and that's how everybody should do. You know what I mean? Everybody should be able to make their own and know where it comes from and not have to. I mean, the dispensaries are good for people that aren't able to do that, but we want to teach people to fish. We don't want to give them fish, because everybody needs this life-saving, it's the most nutritionally complete food source on earth. It has hemp, the raw, pure, natural 20 amino acids, all 20, 9 of which our bodies can't produce naturally. And I mean, that just proves we are symbiotic with the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, no, I mean, when it comes to giving the government money for this, when they've ruined so many lives for hundreds, and actually since the War of 1812 is really when this started, I mean, this is a long time ago. That's 200 years. So should they, and then it goes into the military industrial complex, then the medical industrial complex, then the political, how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and I mean, that's why I think the people, we really need to start doing something, because what we're doing is not working.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. There are a lot of people that are more knowledgeable than, like you said, that can't be taught in schools,
right?
Simply because of experience. And that's one of the things I liked about Colorado was that they have, I mean, of course, they have the dispensaries where it's legal, but by their law, you can have up to 3 full-grown plants in your household for every adult.
Yeah,
So
but
say you
let's
have,
stop right there for 1 second. I can have 100 tomatoes.
Mhm,
I don't want to be told I can have 3. You know what I mean? Because look, I'm making medicine for 100 people.
mhm,
3 is nothing. It's not going to make it.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? So just like it was, looked at as a crop before, I mean, no more. Like we're making legalization. We want to abolish prohibition.
mhm,
And that's what Jack
exactly.
Harris stood for. He stood for full repeal. I mean, of course, his movement is now changed because his children went in another direction. You know what I mean? But, we're just giving up our rights really with
Mhm,
legalization. It's not what we want. It's not what we have fought for.
yeah,
The hippie movement. I mean, it's all been crushed
yeah,
and taken over. So and a lot of people, they think we want legalization. We don't. I mean, if you're under 21 now and you smoke a joint, you're in way more trouble now than you
mhm,
were before legalization.
yeah.
So we just put that burden on all our children.
Yeah, and actually, there's plants like oleander, which are perfectly legal and are used to decorate landscapes everywhere that are far deadlier than any. I don't
But
think anyone's died of an overdose from
and
marijuana.
tomato leaves will kill you. And
Yeah.
children grow them everywhere. They will
Hmm.
kill you. The nightshade family. They'll
Yep.
kill
So
my
there.
chicken. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
everyone grows potatoes and tomatoes.
Yeah.
So please, I mean,
Yeah. And
it's just
well, when I say the term legalization, it's for those people that don't know the difference between
well, we
decriminalization. Yeah.
know the difference. Like
Yeah.
the difference this is when the difference needs to come out now
Yeah.
because we're when we first started legalization in California, it started in what was it, 40 years ago now? But
Hmm.
I can't even keep track. But here we are 40 years later, running in the same circle. People still going to jail every
Yeah.
day, while someone's paying $300 to a dispo. It just,
Mhm.
shady,
Yeah. The government.
shady stuff.
The government's the only entity that will take away your right to earn a living and then sell it back to you,
Exactly.
which is why you have to have a license to sell certain things. You have to have a license to grow things. You have to have a license to run a dispensary. And it's really the government taking their pound of flesh, so to speak, to get something that grows naturally.
Right. Right. Because we know all taxation is really theft, but
Mhm.
you're on point with
Definitely.
that one.
Oh yeah, and actually, I'm writing an article next week for the Seguin Gazette here in Texas, discussing government waste, such as they spent $500,000 to on a grant to check to see the effects of the immune system on shrimp running on a treadmill. 500,000 of your tax dollars went to that. Then they spent another $2.3 million on something I thought was cruel, injecting puppies with cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm. And
It's just,
these are real things. And they spent another $2.6 million. These are all facts you can look up to educate Chinese prostitutes on how to drink responsibly. Not American prostitutes, but Chinese prostitutes. So why our tax dollars are going to stuff like that? Um, I don't, that's why, like you said, taxation is theft. If I wanted to go there, I should be allowed to decide for myself where my
yeah.
money should go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, waiting for the one time, the American people actually turn around and realize they're outnumbered, because,
Mhm.
you know, it's it's just not going in a good direction at this point, really.
Well, that's because most people, all they think is, and it's because of by design that the only two choices they have is shitty and shittier.
Yeah.
But there are other choices out there. It's just that they're not getting, and it's by design, the press that they deserve. Like, there are candidates that are on the ballot in all 50 states that you're not seeing on the debate stage. Why? And it's because they're making more money by selling the division between Americans. Well, we're going to pull you right, we're going to pull you left, and then there's the people in the middle.
Honestly, I
Those,
think the whole thing is a shit show. I
Mhm.
haven't voted since Bush won Gore back in the day, and the percentage didn't even, the math didn't even add up to me right, you know. But
Mhm.
really, the only way, the real way to vote is with your money. I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's all been infiltrated with all these PACs and all. I mean, these big business corporations, like, there's
Mhm.
not even an entity. They're literally entities. They're not people.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even play, nice with them. They don't exist. Um,
Mhm.
it's it's crazy. I mean, but you can, when you're spending money, you can support what you support that way and actually live by your morals and think about those decisions that you do. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, and
but
I try to tell people that, because there's all these people that are saying, well, Trump is different. He's good. It's like, no, he's not. Billionaires have been buying politicians since the late 1800s. He's the first one to cut out the middleman. That's all he was, plain and simple.
I mean, to me, they're all the same. All the
Hmm.
same. So
Yeah,
they're just puppets. They're puppets, and really, we as the people are way more powerful than them if we would just
yeah.
realize it. You
Well, see,
know.
and that's why, like I told people when I was running for Congress in 2018 and 2020, is like, I'm not a politician, nor do I care to be a career politician, which is why my campaign was primarily funded just by me, and I had no support because they knew that I wasn't going to subscribe to this. Well, I'm going to earmark some money in this bill so that you get it. Because even with the COVID-19 relief packages, this is another one that came up. $140 million of COVID-19 relief was used by the state of Florida to create a luxury hotel. They were able to find a loophole in that by saying, well, we're going to take that COVID-19 relief money and credit it to our coffers for money lost due to lack of tourism, and then they just turned the money around and channeled it to create a luxury hotel. So they know I won't play that way. And to me, I think if more people would start looking at the candidates and seeing what, because really government is too powerful. It should not
I mean,
be this powerful.
I've been a businesswoman my whole life, and I mean, Iceland did this too. So, like, at what point do we just go in and just say you're fired,
Yeah,
all of them, just
yeah,
wipe the slate clean? Like, that's Iceland did it.
hmm,
You know what I mean? It can be done, but
yeah.
we're. I mean, honestly, eventually, that's where I hope we go with this.
Well,
Once more people start talking, because I mean, enough is enough, and it's going to take the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents that, like, our children, we're supposed to keep in mind the next 7 generations when we
hmm,
choices, our earth. I'm bringing that up because tomorrow's Earth Day. Like, our
hmm,
children don't even know how to respect our earth. A lot of them don't even know that. They're
hmm.
not taught that. And, you know, I mean, it's time. We need to do something because it's not being done.
Yeah,
And you know firsthand, you were in it, and I'm sure, I'm sure everybody goes in it wanting to make a change and make a difference, and then you just, the real stuff comes out. Either
yeah.
you sell your soul or you're not in it anymore,
Pretty
right?
much, pretty much.
It's
And
sad to say.
I'd rather lose with dignity than win by unscrupulous means.
Well,
Plain and
you
simple.
know what? I'm honored that you did what you did because, I know why I know a lot of people that have gone into, but that's what it is. You either play the game or you're pushed out. And I know you're a good person just because you were pushed out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
glad to have you.
your vote of confidence means more than anyone who didn't vote for me.
Good,
So,
good.
but
It's
but
based
and I
on
do
your integrity, and that speaks volumes, my friend.
well and you know I ran as a libertarian, but I encourage everyone look into other parties. Green Party, if that's your thing, and you're not going to hear any other political candidate talk about looking into other parties because well, as a libertarian, we should feel you should make your own choice. If it's the Green Party, go right ahead. You know, if it's the Constitution Party, go right ahead. God forbid the Prohibition Party. If that's your thing, then look into it. Vote your conscience. Don't vote because you don't want the other guy to get the office because that never works for anyone.
Yeah,
And that's what we've had for the last two presidential elections. It's like, well, I'm not really voting because I like this guy. I'm really voting because I don't want this other person to get in office. That's how we're in the mess we've been for the last 8 years.
so do you have any other info to talk about today,
No,
or?
just my cousin. She's an MD, and she's been practicing medicine for over 25 years, and she's a firm believer in the benefits of marijuana. The medical benefits are there, plain and simple, and it's just the reason why it's kept down and kept illegal for a lot of things is because pharmaceutical companies can't patent Mother Nature. So if you can't patent Mother Nature, you can't make money off it, and that's why uh, Texas is starting to say, well, we can do CBD oil, but then again, you can patent some stuff off of that by extraction processes and whatever, but you can't patent a plant. That's Mother Nature. So that's why it's still illegal here. And hopefully, when I am going to run for Texas Congress in 2024, and I'm going to do that, and also to it's off topic from hemp, but to help restore women's rights to abortion, because that's something that they've been really interfering with here lately, and there's a lot of pro. I want to say pro-Trumpists. They're not really Republicans. They're pro-Trumpists that are really touting a lot of animosity and misogyny towards women and their rights. So, want to restore that.
Yeah, well, good, good luck to you on that. And I'm glad you came on. We'll definitely be having you back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and sorry for the difficulties getting on, but I look forward to having you back. And tomorrow's Earth Day, my favorite. So remember to give back to the earth, everybody, not just tomorrow, but every day. And thanks for joining us. Chime in. We'd love to hear from you. Join us here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And April is Cannabis Awareness Month. And in sticking to the theme, we'll be talking cannabis again next with Delana Walker. So stay tuned. Bye, Anthony. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Mwah.